Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This time actually a 2v2 featuring Kylometa, our red Protoss in the bottom right corner, and in our bottom left we have Noobslayer, our blue Protoss. They are Team 1 against Team 2, which is Noobtar. Noobtar, our purple Terran, and in the top right we have OGbblgum, the original Bubblegum, our teal Zerg. I don't know the map because this is a 2v2 map, but it kind of reminds me of Heart of the Swarm, how they have the the main, or the natural, which is also walled off. There's no other way in, there's only one way in, which is this ramp, and that ramp leads directly down to the actual natural, which probably will go to Zerg, just because that's how Zerg needs those bases. They need it far more than the command center, which could lift off and just take this expansion right here, no issue. What will really be the question is who gets the expansion down on Noobslayer and Meta's team. You know, will they be just as camaraderie as up here, where they have the two pylons, or will they actually fight over the minerals? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, it looks like a spawning pool is being taken by Bubblegum. Tin pool. Not cheese by any stretch of the imagination, but usually you do see one race do the aggression early on, and that probably Bubblegum's role. And then on the other side of the thing, Noobtar will be producing, you know, higher tech, and you can actually see that because he's got that refinery already built right now, as well as two supply depots on the way. Very good. Identical build for Protoss, but it's because they're identical races. I mean, you got two gateways going on. What can you expect? They have to build a gateway. They got to build that cybernetics core next, and then maybe we'll see a forge. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be cool to see a forge fast expand, but it'd also be cool, you know, for suicidal sake, because you already have that spawning pool done from Bubblegum. You've already got 6 Zerglings on the way. A forge fast expand would be relying quite a bit on your partner to deal with that aggression. And if you had some sort of dual aggression, if we saw proxy barracks coming out of Noobtar, then it would be almost an instant lose. Barracks finally being built from Noobtar. He doesn't have one. I don't know, he did, throwing them down pretty much the exact same time, actually. That's pretty neat. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of add-ons get added on to the barracks right now. I mean, he's got that early gas. He's got quite a lot of gas, actually, and he's going to have quite a lot of time, because these Zerglings are going to be buying a lot of time. There is nothing to hold the front door just yet. That first zealot is not quite wide enough to complete that wall off, and he'll actually get surrounded and taken down by all these Zerglings. Only one Zergling actually going down, and a quick probe kill too. Instead of turning to actually deal some economic damage, these Zerglings begin to deal damage on the pylon. Not 100% of a decision that I agree with, because the zealots are just being constantly produced from these gateways, as well as Stalker on the way for looks like Noobslayer. So these Zerglings are going to be only minorly effective, dealing just a little bit of damage to that pylon and finally getting taken down or taken out by these zealots, but not without getting a little bit of a scout. Seeing that forge for that cybernetics core has been built by Noobslayer, and as well as just the one gas being taken. It would be nice to get a complete scout, see how much gas has been grabbed, or the absence of gas, from Kylometa, because that way they know that the gateway tech is going to be very much delayed, because you know you need that 50 gas before you can get that up, and you can only deal with one round of warpins, and you know that's directly going to affect Bubblegum and allow him to get up that base just a little bit earlier. He's going for an expansion just now with just the spawning pool out right now. He's only mining one gas, but only just now starting it, so he doesn't even have speed. Does have quite a lot of Zerglings, though, moving out, going to be poking at that front door, but the front door has been a little bit more well defended this time, and quite a lot of zealots out, and those zealots will absolutely chew through those Zerglings. However, the Stalker is a little bit out in the open. He's going to get surrounded, almost instantly taken down, but with the zealots holding the front door like that, they're going to have a hard time. If the Zerglings are going to have a hard time trying to push in. Some nice control by Kylometa, pulling back like that, preventing the Zerglings from running by. Unfortunately, Noobslayer allows his zealot to pursue them onto the low ground, gets taken out. Not a big loss by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, zealots are incredibly cost effective, even when completely overwhelmed by those Zerglings. It's I think they got that unit completely right. It's really neat to see a zealot go to town on some Zerglings, even if it's just 1 on 3 or something like that. I think zealots are one of my favorite units. It's super cool. Hey, back at the base of Noobtar, who hasn't been seen or heard from, it looks like he's producing 2 Reapers at a time out of these 2 tech labbed barracks, as well as a tech lab on a factory producing siege tank tech. His economy looks a little bit undersaturated, 18 over 19. Back at home, a lot of the economy from Meta has gone completely into those mineral heavy zealots, and he's gotten 2 gas building. I mean, well, the second one's not quite up, but he's a little bit behind on the probe count also. It looks like 24 over 22. That's a little bit more normal. Bubblegum I'd expect to be a little bit higher also, just because of his he's grabbed that extra base. He needs to get that saturation up. He needs to take an economic lead, because that's what Zerg does. And Twilight Council has been built. I don't see a forge. I do not see a forge out of Meta. So it looks like that Twilight Council is going to be used to research something, and it's probably going to be charged, just because we see a ridiculous number of zealots already out of Meta. On the other side of things, it looks like range is the purview of Noobslayer. So maybe we'll see a Twilight Council out of him, so he can get the Blink Stalker going. Or maybe it'll just be one player plays the range and one player plays the zealots to tank the damage. That's probably not a bad way to do it. Kylometa is intending to grab the high yield minerals, which will actually really help him if he's going strictly for zealots, because the added mineral income will be, it'll just allow him to get out a lot more zealots. It'll be cool. I like this. I also like this, which is a lot of Reapers moving off down to the south side, just to the north of Meta's base. It looks like his fragile economy is going to be taking a significant hit just whenever he's caught up to everybody else. 24 probes and 6 Reapers equals 0 probes very, very quickly. Bubblegum is going to be scouting with his Zealot, probably scouting Meta's new base. 24 down to 15, just like that. 14. It looks like just 14. Left alive for Meta, not a total wash. He definitely is going to have to continue producing probes for a very long time, but I mean, he's got 500 minerals, he's got a little bit of energy for a chrono boost, and he's going to be dealing with a counterattack by Bubblegum in just a couple of seconds. Be hitting this Nexus, maybe forcing a cancel, get back some of that minerals so they can produce more drones. And that's exactly what happens to me. 800. Oh, it looks like plenty of zealots are streaming up here from Meta to protect that base, but they're so slow right now, and just a little bit too slow to protect that expansion. Maybe he'll try again for the expansion. Maybe he'll go for something a little bit easier to defend, even though he won't get the economic win that he really needs to get back into this game. On the other side of things, 37 drones. It looks like the saturation at the natural has picked up a little bit for Bubblegum, and this is a really good play. Noobslayer taking that watchtower, seeing that those Reapers are on their way back up into the base, but he's got a couple of Zealots and a couple of his Stalkers actually positioned on the high ground too to prevent that Reaper harass. Oh, and the Reapers jump back down. Some fantastic play by Noobslayer. Really good force field trapping the Reapers. Only one Reaper escapes, and he's taking a little bit of damage. That is going to be it for that harassment. Oh, major win by Slayer. Noobslayer. That's fantastic. That's exactly what needed to happen, because Meta could not keep getting hit by that. His economy was already weak as it was. He needs to get an expansion. He needs to blow his money on units rather than probes to continually remacro, and that was really good. That totally equalized this game, because they had taken some early damage from that economy, and they were definitely behind. Another win here, forcing that cancel from that's Noobtar, right? Noobtar forced to cancel his CC and retreat with his SCV, which is not a total wash, but it's definitely not something that you want to do, is delay that expansion. It looks like he's going to be moving up to the top left corner to take his expansion there. Doesn't really want to take the high yield here though, just because of how incredibly exposed it is. Speaking of exposed, trying once again, Kylometa going for that Nexus, this time with the Zealots well in position, and charge is done, so those Zealots charge right into the fray, losing one of the pylons as well as the probe, but this Nexus has enough energy and enough Zealots protecting it. I don't think it'll go down. Wow, all those shields fall very, very quickly. Are there any upgrades on those Zealots, or those Zerglings? No, there's not. It's actually 0 to 0. I know there's +1 done for +1 for ooh, there it is. I was looking for this army from Noobslayer, and I was wondering where it was, and it's up in the main base of Bubblegum, trying for a counterattack. Unfortunately, there's no unit control here at all from Noobslayer, and all of them do go down, definitely doing some damage, but you never want to engage directly into two armies whenever you only have one, and your partner has taken quite a lot of economic damage as it is and really can't support you. So Noobslayer falls to Noobtar and Bubblegum, losing quite a lot of resources, 2,400 actually, but that's something that he can afford. He's got that natural up, he's mass producing probes right now. Probably got a good saturation back at home too. Oh, he's actually rallying his units over there. Great play. This is actually where we see that unit composition shining. Kylometa's Zerglings, or Zealots, chewing up those Zerglings, and they're being supported by Noobtar's stunted force right now. We don't see Noobtar and Bubblegum playing like that. We really want to see their units gelling to the level of Noobslayer and Meta. You want to keep your units together, especially when they complement themselves. So, and we don't see that sort of complementary unit composition here. You can get that with Zerg and Terran, you know, but we don't see it really with the bio play, heavy bio play. More siege tanks is what we really need. More siege tanks, maybe some medevacs to heal up those roaches so that they can absorb the fire, and then the siege tanks can lay down the damage from the distance. I would absolutely kill to see that. That would be fantastic. As things are now, though, it looks like the saturation is beginning to pick up at this high yield mineral field from Meta, and it looks like both players on the top team are going to be getting into position to deny that expansion. We really don't see much as far as Noobtar is concerned, but where is the force? Okay, force from Noobslayers on the north side swinging down, getting a nice concave, but it looks like they're definitely outnumbered by all the roaches from Bubblegum. Bubblegum, though, swinging down to the south side, leaving Noobtar completely cut off, left him to die basically to Noobslayer's superior army. All these roaches are just sitting, waiting to die. Oh, but now again the great concave from both of the Protoss players, swinging down to deal some damage with their roaches, and you know, a force that I really thought was gonna be able to do quite a lot of damage is all of a sudden dealing with almost an equal number of stalkers, 2 roaches. We can see, you know, equalizing with that fresh wall warping of stalkers. Now we can see the force of these roaches. I mean, they're +1/+1, and that must have just finished. This production tab is looking absolutely out of control. Quick blink from Noobslayer in on top of those roaches. Those roaches have to be kind of careful. At the same time, we can see that the supporting units from Noobtar have gotten chewed up by the static defenses, and Noobslayer's entire force is in shambles. Meta is almost completely out of units also, but not out of money. Both players have quite a bit of money. They just don't have enough unit producing structures. They need to get in there and deal some damage. It looks like that was the last proxy pylon for Noobslayer, so Meta is going to have to produce all the units necessary to protect this installation until another proxy pylon can be built. At the same time, both players on the top side has taken an expansion. Bubblegum has taken the bottom, or mid right, and the top left for Noobtar has been taken. It's not high yield though, so Meta's got a bit of an advantage there, but I think as far as unit composition and standing army, Bubblegum definitely has the most intimidating one. Quite a lot of roaches out right now. It looks like the unit composition is beginning to shift from Meta's pure zealots. He's gotten 2 robotics facilities up, probably going to see quite a lot of immortals in short order. If that is true, we're going to see another couple of... What happened here? Another couple of... it looks like he's moving every single one of his probes, because, you know, you got to get this saturation up to 100% as quickly as possible because they're rich mineral field. But this is actually oversaturation. This is actually hurting his economy more than helping. But you know what? As long as he produces more, and he's rallying them up there. But as long as he produced more probes and got them to work back at home, this really wouldn't be that big of a deal. But as things are now, yeah, his economy is going to be really high, but it could be higher if he kept his unit his probes split up properly. Dark Shrine being built for somebody, and I think it's Noobslayer. Where are you? There you are. Dark Shrine. DTs are going to be fantastic in this matchup because we really don't see any detection at all from Bubblegum. He does have a lair, so he can get detection pretty quickly, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a lot of energy saved up. This one's actually not an orbital command from Noobtar, so definitely a misstep there. But we're going to see quite a lot of energy from Bubblegum And by energy, I mean detection, because he's got a lot of money he can blow on that detection. As soon as he gets in there and sees those DTs, he's going to be moving in. Oh, my mistake. Instead of Colossus, it's going to be a bunch of... instead of Immortals, it's going to be a bunch of Colossus, which is surprising because we don't see that range being researched just yet, and they're very much exposed. They're going to get chewed up by those roaches. Some Vikings are already out on the field for Noobtar, so those Colossus are definitely going to die very, very quickly. But we can rely on Noobslayer to produce a bunch of Stalkers, which actually do extra damage against armored units such as those Roaches. So these Roaches from Bubblegum are going to get chewed up very quickly, and the Zealots are doing their job by taking a lot of damage and absorbing it and allowing the Stalkers to support from a field. Bubblegum pressing the advantage, and Noobslayer allowing the photon cannons to actually deal extra damage, choosing where the engagement happens. This engagement is going to go in his favor as far as units lost tab is concerned. We can see 9,700, so pretty bad there, but it's really neck and neck from Noobslayer because those Vikings have actually landed. Supporting with that DPS, though, those Vikings have to retreat now that all the Roaches are gone to defend. Again, the super manner, just really nicely done. Good teamwork. Good teamwork. Really need to get range on these Colossus because they're just going to get eaten alive by those Roaches. The range of a Colossus is 6 right now, and the range for Roaches is 4, and they're so fast they can actually close that distance incredibly quickly and eat them down. I think the Stalker is 6 also. So those Stalkers aren't going to be providing a lot of positional defense for those Colossus. Not very much at all. And so they're very much exposed, and without that range, they're not very cost effective as far as units go. I would definitely like to see some more Immortals because it seems Immortals would be a much better choice against all these Roaches. Even if the Vikings are out and they're forcing those Vikings, and those Vikings are wasting a little bit of money, but even if half of those Vikings die and all of those Colossus go down, they've paid for themselves. So I would appreciate more Immortals and less Colossus, I guess is what I'm saying. Extended Thermal Lance is being researched, though, so those Colossus will definitely be a little bit more cost-effective in the coming battles, especially if Terran transitions back over to a form of biofield. Looks like a Zealot has found its way into Noobtar's base here, again, just continually producing SCVs. Love to see an Orbital Command come out of that in a little while. Also in a little while, we're going to see Bubblegum's Roaches waddle down to this base from Noobslayer, but he's already got his Stalkers in position, and they are supported by Cloaked Zealots, and those DTs are going to go to town on all those Roaches, absolutely chewing them up. And the force fields and the supporting Colossus, no, they got to step back up onto the high field, just raining down fire. I don't think range is done just yet, only a couple more seconds. Oh, but the Vikings have arrived from Noobtar, and they're definitely going to take down those Colossus, but have to be very careful. Again, the support from Noobtar blinking up onto the high ground, doing some extra damage to those Vikings, forcing them back, keeping those Colossus alive so they can fight again. And now all of a sudden the DTs have found the expansion from Noobtar in the top left corner, which is actually his only expansion, and his main is almost completely mined out. So there goes the economy for Noobtar, still at 18 harvesters, which is just incredibly impressive. And 140 for the mineral income, so not so lucky there, but he's probably got quite a lot of money left over. No, just 150, but remember, it's Terran, so he can just lift off that Orbital Command, land somewhere else, maybe even the exact same place, and begin researching there. These Colossus not so lucky, being taken down by those Vikings, but another quick blink from Noobslayer, jumping underneath those Vikings, hitting them back, forcing them back. Noobtar is not really helping his partner out as much as he could. He needs to get more tanks out, less Vikings. He definitely has more than enough Vikings right now to deal with the handful of Colossus that have been constructed by Protoss right now. This is far more intimidating, specifically this, all those DTs. A heavy Bio Ball, some quick stim Marines could definitely chew them up. Roaches are going to have a bit more of a hard time just because they're slower, and they also have range, so that they can waste their time on some of the Stalkers too. rather than the DTs. Getting some Phoenixes out, not going to be a good choice against the Vikings, but will be a very good choice if they're used for scouting, as well as maybe some harass, because some harassment is sorely lacking in this matchup from either player. They seem to be rather committed to just absolutely crushing the other's army straight up and down, and these roaches are going to do quite a lot of damage from Bubblegum to the Protoss force, especially with those Colossus out of position on the north side, very much exposed, taking just a little bit of damage, but some good control there for Meta, pulling them back. Nice blink from Slayer. Yes, he's going to be taking extra damage because of this bad concave, but that blink forward allowed the Colossus to actually get back into the fray, start doing some damage, forces the Vikings to land, which in turn protects the Colossus. All of a sudden, every single one of those roaches down. Another blink from Slayer getting his stalkers underneath those Vikings, forcing them back. This actually needs to press right now. They need to crush this base and then this base, and there's absolutely nothing stopping them because, yeah, we've got 21 roaches on the field, but those, we just saw twice as many roaches die a very terrible and painful death. Not one of those Colossus went down. We've still got a ridiculous amount of DTs on the field, as well as stalkers. The unit composition from the Protoss is by far and away much more effective than the one we're seeing out of the north side, but Bubblegum is definitely well in hand in this. He's got a fantastic economy. I mean, 51 harvesters to 63, but his mineral income is sky high compared to anybody else's because he's got so many different bases, and one of them is this high yield. Even though it's not fully saturated, it definitely needs to go down, and it looks like Noobslayer is moving out to do just that. He knew about it for probably quite a while because of that observer already in position, but these DTs are going to be doing a fantastic job here, just denying that expansion, and even just a very small poke like that is going to be very cost effective. These Vikings landing behind, taking quite a lot of damage from the photon cannons, but all of those probes have gone down. We can see that the saturation just a little bit lower for Meta than the other two players that have taken quite a lot of bases. Yes, the Noobtar is still at 18 harvesters, so that's bad. But he has quite a lot of Vikings out on the field, or had quite a lot of Vikings out on the field. Probably, yeah, he's got 0 Vikings now because he just lost all of them. Poor guy. But those 5 siege tanks, they can do quite a lot of damage, especially if they're positioned correctly. A little bit of idle workers. We'd love to see the 700 minerals be spent on maybe an expansion down in the bottom right corner, even turning that into a planetary fortress. Could provide some longevity. Well, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing, sending an SCV down there. Yes, it's incredibly exposed, but what other option does he have? He knows he can't take this one, but it's just going to be continually scouted by Protoss. Maybe if he comes down here, he can be a little sneaky, and it won't be scouted, hopefully. Maybe. I mean, this one's not even saturated by Noobslayer, so he doesn't have to worry too much. We'll see. Only time will tell. I think it actually just finished, which is why it's not saturated. And Bubblegum's re-macroed. He's got quite a lot of roaches out on the field right now, 66 of them. That's a lot of supply, but we can see 11 DTs, and those DTs are going to do quite a lot of damage once they actually run into those roaches. I expect we're going to see an apocalypse any second now. Noobslayer is actually getting into position for it just now, moving out. We don't see any communication with him and Kylometa right now, but maybe they're talking over Skype. Maybe they just see on the mini-map what the other player's doing and instinctively know what they need to do. And what they need to do is continually deny expansions. Both players on the north side are going to be getting mined out. We can see that the natural is getting mined out. The main is mined out for Bubblegum. So he's really down to only 1, and that saturation is going to be falling very, very quickly because of those DTs going to town, 53 to 40. The saturation is completely gone for the main, and I'm just going to leave that up there so we can see that 53 fall down to 33 and 30. It's just absolutely awful. Oh man, that's so terrible. I feel bad for her because that's just nothing. You never want to see that. You never want to see this either. All those roaches. The DTs do go down. The economy is in shambles, and all the Phoenixes are out on the field right now. Fantastic idea to get those Phoenixes out. They would not be very useful if those Vikings were still out on the field because those Vikings can outrange them. Yeah, they're a little bit slower, but I think they out DPS them too. So, but now that those Vikings have gone down, these Phoenixes have free reign over the skies. They'll be able to hit quite a lot of damage on those. Any overlords that are out on the field, any siege tanks that are stationary, and those siege tanks represent the majority of Noobtar's force. Clearing the pathway for Noobslayer to push in. Those Colossus are desperately needed right now. and it looks like they're moving in on the mini map. But the DTs are really doing the majority of the damage here. A lot of them have been cut down due to the observers, but in the back of them are all those stalkers, and those stalkers are going to be doing a fantastic amount of damage on the roaches. I really think this is a good game. OGbblgum is going to be tapping out any second now because his economy is in shambles, and with all those Colossus arriving, the small advantage that he had, which was all those roaches, yeah, there's no real reason to stick around. Poor OGbblgum, poor Noobtar. Noobtar, fantastic idea with those Reapers. Really good play right here, dropping them up, taking out quite a lot of saturation from Meta. Very well done. It was not your fault that you lost so many units to that quick force field from Noobslayer. That was a good play by Noobslayer, not a bad play by you. So don't feel bad about that. OGbblgum, you did a fantastic job at staying on top of your macro. I mean, I can tell that you guys aren't in Masters League, but that doesn't mean that you didn't stay on top of that. I mean, you took many more expansions than anybody else. You played Zerg the way it was designed to be played. Maybe try to get out of roaches next time, but still very, very well done. Meta, good hold early on. Way to get your zealots out, and very nice unit control, especially in holding the front, as well as good unit control with the small number of specialized units. You did good with the Phoenixes, you did good with the Colossus, keeping them alive, as well as using your teammates' units to provide more longevity to your Colossus. They're expensive and you need to keep them alive. I still feel like Immortals would have been a better choice, but with this unit composition, those Colossus definitely supported Noobslayer's force. And then Noobslayer, I feel like you're the most balanced out of this group just because your unit composition was by far more devastating than anybody else's, more balanced, and you used it to very good effect. Be careful with those blinking into aggressive situations. Maybe try to reserve that blink so that you can blink out weakened stalkers. It's pretty micro intensive, but you can make a small force go a long way. And some of those earlier engagements, specifically the ones that happen on this expansion, you can really benefit from that sort of micro, and it's definitely something that you might want to incorporate later on. And the DTs were a great idea, especially just getting them into your force and pushing with the DTs and the stalkers so that he didn't get the ping and was like, what's attacking me? Oh, it must be DTs getting Overseer out right now. No, he just snaps over, sees stalkers hitting his base, and he sends over something that doesn't have an Overseer. Good play there. I'm not sure 100% who sent me this replay, but I suspect it's Noobslayer because he was the hero of this. You are the hero of my life, fellow internet person, because you watched my video. If you have a video for me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary. Bye.